Welcome to Badass in Action, the show that ignites your inner fire and propels you toward your epic goals. I'm Melanie Browning, delivering raw interviews, game-changing stories, and mindset hacks to keep you moving. Get ready, it's go time. Hello there, and welcome to another edition of Badass in Action. I'm your host, Melanie Browning, and I have a personal favorite here. Ally Lezcano of Saule Yoga has joined me. Now, I just want to tell you, I met her in a women's networking group here in Gilbert, Arizona. Shout out to Bold Women's Network. And I just want to tell you, every time you show up to one of those events that I'm there, I love it because when you enter the room, there's a calmness that comes with you. So I just want to let you know, when you do, I'm like, oh, she's here. So welcome. And I want to jump in and talk about your business.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me. I just want to say this has been a great opportunity and I'm just so excited to be here. And like you said, the Bold Women Network that we're a part of, it's just so much fun. And I just love being in that group with you. So thank you.
It's a great group, so make sure you check it out, Bold Women's Network. There are a ton of amazing women that are, pushing themselves and networking and getting out there and sharing what it is that they do. So tell us about your studio, where it's at, where people can go, and kind of, your premise for starting it.
So it's in Gilbert. It's on Lindsay and Williamsfield. It's called Saule Yoga, as you said. The studio's been around for a long time, but it was just a really small studio. And so about 4.5 years ago is when I took it over. And so we've just really been pushing hard to expand the business, add a bunch of classes onto the schedule. And it's just a great community. So we really pride ourselves in trying to have an all-inclusive space for people. So we have every kind of yoga that you can think about, from the more restorative styles to a power or sculpt class. We even have classes for kids and families, so that's a lot of fun. It's just like a big community where, we just get together every day and have some amazing teachers and amazing students.
And I love one of the things that you shared with us, and you shared a sample of it at one of our meetings. When I hear yoga, I start to get nervous because it's not something I grew up around or anything like that. And I judge myself and all of the things that come with that. And, and to me, in my mind, it's difficult.
Yes.
So I think that's, kind of kept me out of it. But when you came and you shared this very interesting, I've never heard it before, not saying it doesn't exist, but you came up with a creative way to kind of help people like me and for, maybe the aging population. Can you dive into that a little bit?
Yeah, so that was called chair yoga, and it's exactly what it sounds like. You sit in a chair and you do yoga. So people's misconceptions about yoga is it's hard. I have to be flexible, right? I have to be strong and do all these things. I have to be able to do a handstand. That's not yoga at all. I love to tell people, if you know how to breathe, you know how to do yoga. And so what chair yoga is you sit in a chair and you're really focusing on your breathing and just different movements to open up your shoulders, stretch out your legs, things like that. And it gives people just a place to feel safe and supported from the chair and not have to go into all these crazy poses and be afraid to fall over. So it's great for beginners. It's great for people who might have balance issues, like you said, the older population. People who might be going through an injury or some sort of surgery, it's a great place for them to kind of start and get themselves back and ready to get onto their mat.
I love that. And I love how, you add different things. Is there a process that you go through of, do you just look at other places? Do you search stuff? Do you just respond to what people are asking for? How do you decide what new class to come up with or maybe add additional classes of a certain program?
We definitely listen to our community. Our students are first and foremost. So what our students are wanting, we definitely make sure that we're trying to cater to them, because ultimately what we offer is for our students. And we listen to the community. So we had tons of our students and people reaching out to us, hey, we really want a kids class, or we really want this chair yoga. And I looked at my teachers and I said, okay, who can teach these? Who wants to teach these? And like I said, we have amazing teachers. A lot of them stepped up and were like, yep, this is something that I want to do. I'll be the guinea pig and we can try this class out. And we throw it on the schedule for a few months and just kind of see how it works. If it doesn't work, we adjust and we kind of go from there. But we've seen some really great things with the new classes we're adding.
That's awesome. What got you into yoga?
My mom. So it's kind of a funny story. And to make it short, I actually took my very first yoga class at the studio that I now own. And I hated it. I was 16 years old. I was an athlete. I ran track. I played volleyball. I went to college for volleyball. Like, I lifted weights since I was 14. Like, I wanted to go fast. I wanted to lift heavy and just basically beat my body down. And my mom was like, you really need some yoga in your life. And so she took me to a class and I hated it. I said it was stupid. I don't understand why people do it. And then just slowly, my mom just kept kind of like pushing yoga towards me. And in college, she found a yoga for athletes course on YouTube. And I was like, oh, it's for athletes. This is what I can actually do. So I started doing that. It was like a 2-week program on YouTube, and I fell in love with it. So that really just opened up my mind and shifted my perspective on, oh, wow, okay, yoga is for everyone, and it's so beneficial in so many ways. And then from there, I just did yoga every single day of my life. And then when COVID happened, I was actually coaching volleyball at the time, and as everybody knows, the world stopped, and I said, what am I going to do? And just an email popped up in my inbox and it said yoga teacher training. And I said, sure, I'm going to do it. And then I never looked back from there. I became certified. And then by the time I finished my certification, I had the opportunity to take over the studio. So it all kind of fell in my lap, which is amazing.
There's so many things like I want to touch on there. But first of all, shout out to Mom for holding that vision. She was like, no, you know what?
Yeah.
And like, oh, I found it. I know what's going to hook her. So I love that. Yay, Mom.
I know. Thank you.
It gives hope for like things I want my kids to.
Yes. Just keep slowly pushing.
Find the door that, opens their heart. I love that. And so you said that you were coaching volleyball before it. How did that look? Like, were you in classroom set? Like, did you have your own business?
So I coached for a club. Okay. So there's a club, Arizona Storm, and my dad and I actually got to coach together, which was a lot of fun because he was my coach growing up. And so, we coached together. I was his assistant. And then when I was going through my training, I was still coaching. And so I got to bring yoga to those athletes, which was really cool. It combined two passions that I had, volleyball and yoga. So that was a lot of fun as well.
That's awesome. Now, do you have any background in, because, coaching and doing those things, I mean, that's already, you've got to be self-sufficient and motivated and, being a leader there, which are very important for being an entrepreneur. Sounds like your parents really help with a lot of that. So that's wonderful. With that though, but like getting into the business element, did you have any background or parent knowledge, or what did that look like when you actually were like, okay, brick and mortar business, take me through how that felt and what kind of got you going there?
So I've always just found myself in different leadership roles. I don't really know how or why. It's just maybe an energy that I have without even really trying. But when I got the opportunity to take over the yoga studio that was existing, I was actually working for Sombrero's Mexican restaurant, and I was their human resource director. So that's what I had been doing for 8 years. And the owners of that, Tim and Julie Vasquez, they actually ended up being my business partners at the studio for a while. I grew up with their kids. Our families were really, really close. And Tim was this amazing businessman that has just grown sombreros all across Arizona. And so I really got to work side by side with him. I grew up with his kids and his family. So he was like a business mentor to me, just watching him and being able to sit in on those meetings. And then when he became my business partner, he really helped me kind of learn the ropes and why he was making certain decisions. And the three of us, Tim, Julie, and I, we would sit in these meetings and kind of figure out the studio and what happened. And a few years into the studio, they decided to take a step back because of the place they were at with their family. And they gave me the option, do you want the studio or would you like for all of us to just sell it and kind of brush our hands clean? And I sat on it for a while, and I had a month before met my now husband, and he really encouraged me to be like, if this is something you think you want to do, then I'm on board, let's do it. And so I told him, I was like, all right, I'm ready to take this on. And I did, and just taking that knowledge that he kind of gave me and running that business. So
that's wonderful. A month in, and he's like, I've got you.
Yeah, he's got you.
So cool. So cool.
Yeah.
I love all of that. Having a mentor is, such it helps set that foundation for you, and it kind of helps you breathe a little bit. And it's absolutely amazing. I love that you have that. In that moment of like learning and developing and all those different things, did you ever have any wow, shift of mindset kind of things? Like, I didn't know this how it operated, but does anything stand out to you in that process? It was just different.
Yeah, I mean, I think with a business, you learn as you go. And I didn't go to school for business. I went to school for math. So my mind was very black and white. There's a right answer to things. It's all just this equation that you can solve. And business is so different. It's way more fluid. You can go so many different ways with it. So I think just throughout the years, there have just been little moments of, this is the right decision. And I was so set on this is what I'm going to do. And this is going to be right for the students or the studio or whatever it is, my teachers. And then a week or 2 weeks or a month into it, and you're looking and you're just like, oh, maybe that wasn't the right decision. I think that I might have messed that up. And so I really think that that's just been my biggest eye-opener is I'm making a lot of mistakes, and I just have to learn on the fly and kind of go with it throughout everything.
I love that. And thank you for sharing that, because, I remember this, business owners or successful people, make decisions quickly, and they're less likely to change them, and people that aren't as successful take a long time to make a decision. And what I kind of wrapped that up in was I'm never going to be successful because it takes me forever to make a decision, and that successful people are just smarter, right?
Yeah.
They must know the information, right?
Yeah.
And what I've realized is that it's about not so much making the right decision. Obviously, you're going to take in the information that you have.
Yeah.
But it's really about moving, taking
Yes.
action. Because as you take action, you can make the decision that you made the right one.
Yes.
You can shift it, right?
Yeah.
It's changing, but it's morphing it into this bigger thing, and the fluidness and all of that. It's out there. It's taking action. You can make mistakes. It's okay, because it's feedback that really helps you grow and fine tune.
Yes, absolutely. And I tell my teachers all the time, I'm like, we're going to try this. We're going to try this class at this time. You're going to teach it. It's going to be this style. We're going to give it 2 months. If it doesn't work, then just be ready. I might shift it. I might replace the teacher. I might just have you teach a different style. We might even move the time around. So I try to instill that in my teachers as well, of everything's fluid. I tell them the only constant is change in a business, so just be ready for that.
The only constant is change in a business. That's so true. I love that. With your instructors that you have, is there a process that you go about? Are they friends of yours? Kind of, how do you select? And I'm sure it can vary, but
Yeah.
is their process?
It varies a lot. There are some teachers at my studio who I've kind of known forever, and they were yoga teachers. Some are friends that I've met in my yoga training or at different studios around the valley. But every teacher, no matter friend or someone who I've never met before, they come in, we do an audition for them. It's basically an interview, but they teach a class. They do like a 30-minute class, and we just kind of watch, like, what's their knowledge? How do they present themselves as a teacher? I love when they make a mistake. If they make a mistake, how do they come back from it, right? Are they like, oh, sorry, I meant your hand, not your foot, or whatever they said that was like wrong? Because that shows me, okay, they can just kind of like go with the flow and students are going to relate to them. So they do an audition, and then usually we put them on the sub list, and I get them into a full class. I let my students come and experience their class because I could love them and I could think they're the most amazing thing on the planet. But if you're my student and you don't like that teacher, I don't want to put them on my schedule because it doesn't matter what I like. It matters what you, my students, are wanting. So I let them, do a couple classes here and there, and I get feedback from our community. And as soon as they say, yep, I love this teacher, then I either find them a spot or they kind of stay on our sub list until we can find them somewhere to be.
That's great. The system that you have built in there. Also, I want to tap into kind of when you mentioned the energy that you have, going kind of way back there. Do you have, what are your thoughts and beliefs around energy and stuff like that? I know kind of yoga can tap into some of the woo-woo and not always. Sometimes it's more athletic and stuff like that. Is there any kind of philosophy or vibe or anything in the studio?
Yes, we just really, really pride ourselves on that community inclusive energy. And we like to just make it accessible for everybody. And so we have some teachers who, as you said, woo-woo, who maybe side more on the lines of woo-woo, and you walk into their class and, they have crystals on and essential oils and the things you think about when you think of like all these hippie yoga teachers and like the woo-hoo. And students love that and they're drawn to it. And then we also have some of our teachers who are more into like the sculpt and the fitness side of things, and they use weights in their class and different resistance bands and things like that. So the energy when you walk into the space is overall just very accepting. And I've had students tell me like they walk in and they just feel like really calm and peaceful. So kind of, it was funny when you said like, when I walk into a room, you feel that way, because that's how I try to make my studio feel, because no matter who walks into the studio, no matter if you're coming for mind, body, or spirit, right? I want you to feel like, oh, okay, I can let everything go here. My work day is left, or my school day is like behind me. Oh, I took care of the kids all day long. I am exhausted. This is your 60 minutes to just come in and just feel that weight off of your shoulders. So we just try to make it very serene and peaceful.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I need to hang out there.
Yeah.
A lot more. Going back to with the different teachers, what really kind of stood out to me is because, I don't know how much personal you want to share, but just knowing that you have a life outside of the studio.
Yes.
And so, having the system for the other instructors and having other instructors, I think a lot of people, when they first get in business, they have an idea. They're like, I've got to be the owner operator of this business, which you are.
Yeah.
But also you're leveraging and building that. Is that something that's taught from a mentor, or is it through trial and error, like I can't do this, or
trial and error, and taught from my husband, to be honest. So I am a new mom. I have an 8-month-old baby at home, and that was a huge shift for me. I'm used to doing everything by myself. I'm very independent. I want to do it. I want to be the one in the weeds, like running the business. I want to do it all. And when I got pregnant, it was right after I had taken over the studio. It was like 6 months afterwards. And I had this whole plan of all the things that I was going to do on my own with the studio. And then I was like, oh, okay, I'm probably going to need some help here. So I think I kept trying to do things by myself. And my husband was like, you need help. Like, you can't be the person who's teaching the classes and the one who's running the business and doing all the things on the back end and the front end. And so I relied heavily on my teachers. I had a lot of them step up and they were phenomenal. They took over a lot of things for me. I hired a studio manager, and she has just been incredible. The things that I go to ask her to do, she's already done them yesterday, and I'm just like, how did you read my mind? So that has just been amazing, because now I get to focus on not only my family and the life outside of the studio, because that's huge and something that everybody has, whether you're running a business or at work. But I then get to focus on the big picture things for the studio. So instead of just having classes, we're kind of expanding to be doing so much more at the studio. And those are things that I wouldn't have been able to do if it weren't for all these people helping me.
I love just hearing you talk. I'm hearing all of the things that we learn about success and hear about success just coming out of you. And because like I've seen, you're in the while that I've known you, it feels like it's growing even, day by day kind of thing, and hearing new offerings that you have. And I love the fact that you have, because you're not there controlling every single class, you do have this wide variety. Because when you're talking about the woo-woo and then the more athletic, I'm like, great, something for all of my personalities.
Yes.
Not just different people, but you know what I mean? So, it sometimes it's hard to let go. But, the bigger, and being able to focus on the family and, the reason why we do all of this.
Yeah.
So, man, the mentors, mom, your spirit, just everything. It's just, I love hearing that from you and just knowing like, man, that's success that, that you're having and will continue to have moving forward. I'm excited for that. How can people partake? How is it set up? Not specific prices, but like I know you have kind of a system for that.
Yeah. So we have a website, saule-yoga.com, and students can go on there. They can kind of read about our teachers. We have our full schedule on there. So we have all of our weekly classes, as well as different offerings that we have like once a month. So the things like our family yoga class, our kids yoga class. We always do like a sound bath, any sort of special event that we have, that's all on our website. And students can sign up. They can pay for a drop-in. We have class packages, so they can buy 5, 10, 20 at a time. And those are great for a whole year, so they don't expire. So if you're kind of that person that's maybe trying it out, but you can't get there very often, those are great. We also have memberships. And so those are the students that we tend to get to know a little bit better, because our monthly members, they're in there all the time. So you just pay for a recurring membership and you can take unlimited amount of classes. You also get discounts then on our special events when you do that. So we have a pricing option for everybody and classes for everybody. So we try to make it as easy as possible.
That's super awesome. All sorts of variety there. What is, along the things that you've learned, do you have any particular favorite one or thing that's like, this is the tip that really helps? I know there's probably a lot, but this one, if you're starting a business, if you're looking at starting a business and you haven't taken that step yet, what would be your piece of advice to a female entrepreneur that's there?
I would say 2 things come to mind. One is just trust your gut, trust your instincts. If you're like, you know what, I don't know, this just feels wrong, or like there's just a lot of friction, then maybe listen to that. Why is it telling you that? Or if you're like, whoa, this is like way easier than I expected it to be, or like this just landed in my lap, go with that, because there's something there that's guiding you the way you need to. And then the second thing is rely on other people, whether it's a mentor or your significant other or a parent or a friend or someone. You need those people to help lift you up and to kind of help guide you. And I have different mentors, so to speak, for everything. So if I have a hard conversation I have to have with someone at the studio, be it a student or a teacher or something, I have a mentor that I go to, and I'm always like, okay, I got to have this really awkward, hard conversation. Like, what do I say? Because sometimes I can't do it. Or, if I have to make a business decision, I call up my person who helps me with that. So the more people that you can get who maybe know things a little bit better than you do, the better it's going to be for you and the easier it's going to be making those decisions.
That's perfect. And it's they know it, and they're also coming from maybe a grounded place at that time when maybe we're not in that space. It really helps, that co-regulation going on there. Trusting the gut. Oh my goodness, that's so powerful. And the one thing that you said on top of that, just if something falls in your lap and it feels too easy, I know I'm the kind of person that's really like skeptical.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's my law enforcement background or just probably more my natural nature.
Yeah.
It's so true though. It's like simple is better most of the time. So if it comes easily, let it flow. I think we, a lot of us, I know I grew up, work is hard. That was a very strong belief that I had growing up, and it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. Work can be flowy and easy and life-giving and all of those things. So super wonderful. And I'm always about mentors.
Yes.
Definitely with that. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Make sure you go and check out her studio and all of her amazing instructors. And again, where is it located?
It's in Gilbert on Lindsay and Williamsfield, Saule Yoga.
Awesome.
So,
Go ahead and go to Saule Yoga and, continue being badass. Thanks for tuning in to Badass in Action. Drop a quick note, DM, comment, or review, letting me know the moment that hit hardest or the questions it sparked. Your insights fuel future episodes. Until next time, stay badass, keep moving, and remember, you got this.